for myself. I'm with Tandi, coming back to account for what's happened yesterday. And of course, we will be taking you through what's to be expected in today's match that is between India and Sri Lanka. That promises to be a very big match, big encounter. The other one seeking to just make it 7/7, being India, and then Sri Lanka seeking to keep the hopes of making it to semifinals alive. We'll talk about that. But how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Before I forget, you were the closest to getting our bet right, and I think that's what we should do. Like every day, sort of like when we do predictions, whoever gets it right gets a prize. That's between you and I.
Now that's a deal.
Maybe like a chocolate or something.
Yes, definitely.
A treat of some sort. So I believe that we should just say a chocolate it is. We both love chocolate, so we will do that, right?
Definitely, because at least that I know for sure I can afford that one. But okay.
Let's talk about that. You called it to, like, you were so close. I was way far off the mark. I said that it was going to be a win, yes, for South Africa, but by very small margin. You called, you said by 100 or over 100, then they won by 190 runs.
Imagine. It was one of those, the hinge, as I noticed based on the first power play, that at first they noticed that they were not doing so well. But I saw the way Quinton was already settled in, now ready to play, and he knew he was out there to start breaking more records. And definitely, I was like, now this is the real game right there.
Let's talk about this. South Africa obviously made history, beating New Zealand for the first time in 24 years.
Wow.
So basically, in my existence, they've never won.
Definitely.
the first time. And then not only that, the previous match that they won against Pakistan, it was also their first win in 24 years. So if I were to jump to conclusions and just make my own mind, I would say this could be the year for South Africa.
Yes.
What do you think?
I totally agree with you in the sense that it shows that what happened in the past, like the history. Imagine if we had to judge it based on what happened 24 years ago, we're definitely going to be crying before the game even started, saying we're going to lose this game, or based on the probability, the way it was favoring New Zealand over South Africa. But it's that hinge or that willing power of wanting to win and playing your best and putting it all out there just made the team strive. And hey, here we are, we're celebrating now, and now we've got more records broken from the individual players to the team performing as a squad. Right now, SA is at the top for producing the most hundreds. That's something big, and they're representing Africa. So I feel they're actually on the good track, and they need to continue with that momentum of performing their best all the time.
Speaking of personal records, individual records, and of course team records, you're looking at a Quinton de Kock who just never seems to know how to stop scoring. The very key man for South Africa, scoring a century in that match yesterday, of course, alongside Raisi van der Dassen. What do you make of that overall partnership between the two?
That was beautiful to watch, because in the sense that the way they were playing, they were showing that, yes, as much as we need to put the runs on the board, they were doing that partnership in the sense that we work together, we're careful, and we need to take this team far. In the event that something goes wrong, and of which something happened when Temba came out in the first power play, and that was a heart-aching thing, but we can't really crucify him. He's out of form right now. So, but we knew that there were other players were there to carry him, like to cover up his mistakes. And thank goodness, like how I said yesterday, that the bowlers, they needed to do the work, and you should definitely saw what Marco did right there. Managed to take all those wickets, and like what has been saying in the States, that in every match in this World Cup, he has been taking an average of 2 wickets, which is a good consistency right there. And if only everyone else could continue doing that. And what I noticed as well is now part of the top wicket takers in South Africa. So that shows teamwork right there.
Teamwork wins you the matches. Let's talk about New Zealand, though. I mean, that, being bowled out, surely for the very first time in this tournament.
Well, it shows that at times you can make wrong decisions based on your assumptions. They didn't really look at their strengths. They thought they based it on assumptions. They thought, okay, if we let South Africa win, bet first, we'll
Yeah.
definitely take them out. That's okay in the sense that maybe it could have gone either way. But now, in the sense of trying to defend what the mistake or the problem they'd done, SA was already gone 300 and something, which
Yeah.
is a hard target for them. And also based on all those injuries, they have about 3 of their key players who are known for good batting skills. They were sitting out. So it was a bare minimum strength in there. And the fact that they tried to do something, they didn't all come out without those darks, the zeros, it's good. And the fact that they also managed to fight taking out people, it showed some good strength. It wasn't good enough, but it shows how power hungry or wanting to win SA is when they're in form. And if I was them or the coach, I would say we stick to betting all the time
Exactly.
until
Yeah.
we lose that toss. But even if we lose, we need to rely on our bowlers. And you see, like what you said about Kakli, so being in the team, he managed to take as well those few wickets. So it shows that that teamwork, that partnership, the team has learned to work according to their strength. It has been benefiting them all.
And that's the thing. I think when you win a toss against South Africa, you shouldn't opt to like don't let them bet first because
Definitely.
they'll give you a proper chase for
That's
your
a
money.
trap right
It
there.
is a trap. And when New Zealand won that toss, now like, are they sure that they want to do this? Are they sure that they want to chase the match? But of course, there will be games like the game against Pakistan where you were chasing, and we saw that we almost lost that one, just winning it by 1 wicket. South Africa definitely has to work on their chasing because we don't know how it's gonna go for the rest of the tournament. What if you get to a semi-final, which is a do or die, and then the opposition team gets to bowl first or whatever, and then they have to chase. As a coach, now knowing what your strong point is, right? You know that you can bet well, cool, you do that really well. But the chasing being the problem, how do you work on that as a team? Also, the coaches involved in this.
um, I would say more like encourage them. I would encourage the team that the way they do their betting, they should also apply it when it comes to the second innings, in the sense that as much as the pitch conditions would have changed, they need to adapt as well. They need to maximize where they feel like there's that weak link. And then also in the sense that now we have experienced people, experienced bowlers, experienced batters. For example, Quinton right now started playing at a younger age. That means he knows all kinds of conditions, and they need to utilize that information or knowledge based on what they know about the speech, and then at the same time use that knowledge to their advantage. So that means if we're chasing, it's now up to the bowlers. We're no longer relying too much on the batters to put up the runs, but now the bowlers, they need to start doing the more target bowling, which is more adventurous in the sense that if the batter misses the ball, they know that it's aiming for those wickets. So if it means more yorkers, more them hitting the ball on the slips and having good footing setups, then that's good.
Now, we will talk about that match, India South Africa biggest match. But for today, there is a match that will be underway in just 30 minutes, and we'll talk about who won the toss in just 3 minutes, as that the toss will be taking time. Then it is India against Sri Lanka. A do or die for Sri Lanka. If they lose today's match, their hopes of making it to the semi-finals completely shattered.
Yeah.
For India, if they make it another win in a row, they remain unbeaten and potentially, well, no, not potentially. Actually, if they win today's match, they are guaranteed a semi-final spot. I mean, it's obvious they were already in the semi-final, but like if they win today's match, it's a done deal for them. Do you think that we could potentially see some sort of upset from Sri Lanka today?
Based on the experience and exposure, it's not going to be an easy loss for them, in the sense that they have that fighting spirit as well in them. As much as they have very much key players, but the fact that they are out there to do their best and trying to survive, at least to make it in the top 7, it won't be so easy for India, but at the same time, based on the skills and what we have seen from the bowlers,
Yeah.
it shows that one mistake, that means they are gone. And if the moment you lose that momentum or that partnership, then the team is in trouble, in the sense that they know, okay, the upcoming games which are coming right now, they're going to be a little bit tough. But for India, one thing what I noticed is that it won't, this will be their 8th win, meaning that they're still breaking their record. They've that winning in a consistent record.
Yeah.
Because currently they were still in the 2nd place. The highest number of wins they've done is 8. So this will be 8 to be the par. But meaning the next game they would have overpassed what they've been
That's
performing.
if they win.
Yes.
That's
That's if they win. But
Yeah.
based on the experience, they know the area, the exposure. Sure, they have a higher advantage compared to the Sri Lanka, and they have their full squad right there. So it's a matter of, one, they're good in chasing, and they're also good in the setting up the scores.
Yeah.
So it's like they're well balanced compared to Sri Lanka, of which their batting side is a little bit weak. They're more of bowling side. So it's a now
So they
matter
have
of
to bowl
winning.
first.
Now it's a matter of who win the toss.
But also playing against a team that is well rounded like India, whether you're chasing, whether they're setting the score, they know how to get it done. So I think it's going to be a huge one for Sri Lanka today. Let's talk about that head to head. A total of 167 matches. India, obviously, with the upper hand, winning 98 of those matches. Sri Lanka, 57, and matches with no results, only 11. If we are to base it on these stats, we already know who's winning. It is the home team. Not only that, they also have the backing of the fans, which is the 12th man and very important in any match, in any sporting code. Even when you have the backing of the supporters, you've got no choice but to just win all the matches. Today,
Definitely.
just like the last match against England that India played, obviously Sri Lanka will want to do something similar to that. You want to get your Virat Kohli out earlier on in the match, but we've seen against England, and it did not make them lose the match.
Definitely. Because in the sense that you realize everyone is as equally as strong as how the first top batters are like.
Yeah.
But it's like they shouldn't just get too comfortable. That's what I would advise them based on my little knowledge, is that once you remove the top players, that doesn't mean that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
It's up to the last person, because they've nothing to lose really. They know
Yeah.
that my specialty is bowling. I'll maximize there, but here I'm just here to help the team. So anything, they'll just throw the bet, the 6s, the 4s, even if they come out, they don't really care.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, they need to strategize properly. Okay, what's their attacking game plan on this game for this match, in the sense that here they need to attack more other than defending, because they have got a weak team. So the more they attack, that means they will slow down the runs being wider or bigger, and then that means early wickets will be taken as well. So I think that's to be the strategy.
So still on the stats, right? And so Rohit has also been that very key player for India. So India as a whole, I feel like there's a lot of individuals who I feel like they cannot play without the likes of Rohit as well, whom he has the most sixes in all the matches so far, more than any other team in the first power play.
Wow.
Just all by himself. So how great does that speak for a player like him? He has 35 sixes in the first 10 overs of India's innings across all matches of the tournament. That is more than any other team in the tournament had scored in the first power play. So how do you then make sure that you get rid of such a player who knows how to get those runs in the first 10 overs?
Never throw the loose balls, because just know that those ones are definitely going for 6s, because the moment he hits the ball and he has the power, the strength to just swing the bat, and it will definitely go for the 6s. So it's one of those, you need to be careful, need to strategize, and from what we have seen, he's good with the seamers, he's good with the spin. So now it's a matter of those chances now. How good are you at that aiming or target bowling, like what I was saying? if it means him coming out with the LBWs, so be it, because that means you wouldn't see the ball turning either way or being bowled out. Because if you're trying to aim for being caught, that's never going to happen. Because the moment the ball is loose, it's gone. No one will be able to catch it. So unless it's his bad day, then sure. But remember, there's also Virat Kohli as well. That's another one. So it's a win-win, the captain and the other players. But even if we celebrate that they've managed to remove them early, there's Bumrah, who's known for the bowling, and so far is like one of the top wicket takers, in the sense that he's about 14. So if it means we survive the betting side, now it's us trying to survive here.
There is also Mohammed Shami. I speak about Mohammed Shami a lot because he didn't play the first few matches for India, but when he came in the first match, he just got all the wickets coming through. Now, when you have a player like that who just gets all the wicket coming, is there any way actually that you can just avoid to be taken out early as a player that really does so well?
It's not a matter of choice, in the sense that you don't decide what you do out there, in the sense that your aim will be wanting to play as much as you can and protect the wickets. But now avoiding it, that's a tricky one, because it needs a maximum concentration. And also what I've noticed is that if your mental strength is not strong, or if you don't have that enough sleep, we know how the teams love going out and having fun and sleeping for minimum time, but that sleep is actually crucial for the sake of concentration.
So just an update as to what's happening in that match. Sri Lanka won the toss and decided to bowl. I'm not sure if that was a great idea from them, because when India set the score, it's definitely going to be probably 350 plus. That's what I think. What do you think?
Definitely.
Was that a wise decision for them to field first?
It wasn't per se, in the sense that, but it wasn't a wise decision, in the sense that we've got India has got strong betting side as well. But at the same time, they couldn't have opted to bowl first. That means the match was going to finish early. So it's a matter of trying to utilize all those 50 overs, and they know their stronger side is bowling. So they're trying to use, like what I advise them, use what you're good at, and then you try to cover up for what you're lacking. So here they know they only have the bowling attack only, but that's the only thing they can do, at least to slow down India. But if you know that if it's in good shape, it's going to be another South Africa versus New Zealand type of thing.
Which is going to be a very interesting one.
Exactly.
But I feel like in a way it's going to be such an easy one for India, though.
We can't underestimate the smaller teams, can we?
But based on stats,
yes,
do say that it's going to be an easier one for India. So looking at more stats, Sri Lanka in ODI World Cups, playing a total of 91 matches, winning 42 of those and lost 43 to India. 3 abundant, 2 no results. So they've lost more games than they've won against India. So today it will be interesting to see if they'll make it 45 or at least cause an upset for India. But also, if they do win today against India, that's a very big confidence booster for them. Not only that, but they will be giving India a wake-up call now, because they're flying really high. They've got everything in the bag. It's like they want foot in the semi-final. But if Sri Lanka does do the unthinkable today and win that match, would this be the right match for India to lose?
I feel it's now. Because you can't lose at the last minute when you're expected to win at the finals. In the semis, finals. Semis, you might survive, but the finals now, it's one of those, I was almost there, but it's not so there.
Do or die.
Yeah, and based on the conditions of the pitch right now, it's like it's a well-balanced pitch, in the sense that it's a betting pitch if you are really good at it, which is India really, and also for the bowlers as well, because there's that slight twin for the spinners, and that's what Sri Lanka is really good for. Those spinners, they have a whole lot of those, and then the bounce also for the new ball from the pacers. So what I've noticed is that over time, like in the second innings, that's when the pitch becomes flat based on because of that playing around a lot. So it's now more favorable. And when it comes to the bowling, it's a little bit tricky.
So in the first power play, it's not.
It's not. It will be a bit slower because the ball is now being held back. So it's easier to hit that kind of ball. So in a way, they did their homework. They analyzed the pitch condition and they were like, okay, might as well take our chances and bowl first while it's still favoring our seamers, while it's favoring our spinners. As much as well, it might favor the batters in the sense that it runs like it's a smaller ground. So those are the easy boundaries. So yeah, I won't crucify them
So that was a
for
good
winning the
choice for them.
toss. Yeah.
And then talk to me about how the weather then affects the chasers in the evening. How's the weather, the ground? How does that change the momentum of the match?
Well, in the evening, it's usually a little bit cooler, and that's when the humidity is a little bit lower. So that means that's when the moisture now, which has been accumulating during the day, the water vapor, it's now going back to the ground and making it a little bit softer. So when now the bowlers are trying to bowl, like for example, the seamers, it won't be as quick as right now when it's still hot, when it's now still fresh and new. So it's kind of it's more adventurous. I mean,
adventurous.
Yeah, exactly. In the sense that they can use more spinners, and we all know that India has more seamers than the spinners, but of which those few ones they still do the work. So it's a 50-50 chance, really, right there.
So it's a 50-50 chance based on the weather conditions for both teams. Now, just going through the records again at the Wankhede Stadium record, India won 7 out of 10 ODIs against Sri Lanka in that very same stadium. So we'll see how today won. Current form of India, obviously 7 out of the last 8 ODIs. We'll see if they make it 8 out of 8 today. Sri Lanka only winning 2 matches in this World Cup. That was against England, which was also a shocker. And also winning against Netherlands. I feel like everybody was just collecting points from England, from the defending champions. Very not so championship like, from England this time around, but of course everything can happen to anyone. So I don't know if there's any stats that you would like to add, but before you do, let me just take you through the memorable World Cup matches between the two teams. I feel like the stats between the two teams are just always in India's favor, but let's see what happened in the years leading up to the 2023 edition of the World Cup. So in 96, the World Cup final, Sri Lanka winning that one by 7 wickets against India, by 7, right? So keep the numbers in mind. I want to do something. So in 2007, in the group stages, India won by 140 runs, 140 runs. 2007, right? And then in the 2011 one, when India eventually won this World Cup, India won by 6 wickets. So again, this is complete dominance from India, winning 2 out of 3 matches against Sri Lanka. But of course, Sri Lanka winning that World Cup final against India by 7 wickets in 96. So shows that it's always been a rivalry. Of course, not bigger than the one between India and Pakistan, but I would say second to that one.
Well, the fact that Sri Lanka is won in those few games, it means there could be hope. Never know, they'll add more into their states. So as much as India has been winning all the time, never know what Sri Lanka has been cooking up in their pockets. So this one will be a good match to watch. It might seem easy, but I don't think it will be that easy.
It's definitely not going to be easy. But Virat Kohli with just over 300 runs. You've also have Rohit Sharma with also more than 300 runs. So Rohit obviously being second to Virat Kohli with that one. We spoke about what you need to do in order for you to tame Virat Kohli. You take him out as early as possible. Definitely. But you've got another great batter in Rohit Sharma. How do you then also just make sure that you take out all the key players for India? Maybe in the first power play, to maximize Sri Lanka's chances of taming them.
Yeah, definitely. Like what you just said, you just have to maximize in the first power play. At least if you can make it in that first power play, the second power play, since it's longer. But I feel like at least the only advantage they could have is that they shouldn't just let them slip away. In the sense that if once they do, they are gone. So it's one of those, they're in the top order betting, meaning they should attack them first. While as much
Yeah.
as they shouldn't forget the other people, their partners, because they can do the same damage as what these two key players are doing. So it's one of those, remove everyone literally, don't attack individual or play the names because they're just a name at the moment, because it's a
But
new day, so you never know what's
okay,
going on.
but again, it comes back to you knowing you played the match.
Uh-huh.
When you say that it's just names, do you try to put everything, all the stats behind, like at the back of your head, and say, okay, cool, it's Virat Kohli, but let me do what I'm here to do and just try to get him out?
As much as it will be really hard in the sense that they have the experience, they've been dominating ever since the qualifier started, but at the same time you can't let that um channel fear on the team really and be like, okay, we're facing India, that's a loss. I feel that's how most teams they usually lose, based on you lose psychologically before
Before even,
the exactly.
but
So
do
by the
they do
time,
that though?
yeah, I've seen most of those people. It's one of those, you tell yourself you win, but you've told yourself it's India. What won? That means we're going to be beaten.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not being positive about what you're going to do out there, as much as you try your best. But the fact that you have lost already before the game has started, that's not a good mental conditioning for yourself. But if they go out there and be like, okay, today it's a new day, this is our chance to change that history and be at least become the second person to take out Virat Kohli with that duck, like what happened with previous games when he came out with the zero. That means, okay, that's it. If that happens, if that happened before, then it's possible to happen today, and it's a new day, it's a new chance. So they should just go out there, have fun, and have that positive
And
mindset.
try to beat India. Imagine how historic, how beautiful it will be for you as a struggling team to
Yeah,
just beat a team that is high flying, a team that has never lost a match
yeah.
in the World Cup. So
Mhm.
I feel like it will boost their confidence. Don't you
Yeah,
think so?
because technically you're playing against people right there. They're also people like you. So you should feel that motivation. Okay, if he can do what I can do as well, sure, we can see it out there. And also, I've been practicing, I've been training. It's not like they've been just sitting and waiting to be
Yeah.
beaten by India. They've been strategizing. So now it's the time to put that game plan into practice, implement what they've been doing. And I'm sure they've the analyst to show them the weaknesses, which areas are they usually good at hitting. So when they're now bowling, they avoid those kind of lanes so that they avoid so much damage. So I feel they have a strategy, and yeah, cool.
So we'll see how that one goes. Now we've spoken
Yeah.
about how you need to obviously ball in order to restrict them from getting the most runs in the first power play, actually in the entire
Entire.
first innings. Let's talk about now the man who just knows how to take all the wickets, Mohammad Shami. This will be his third match so far in the World Cup, and he currently has the most wickets. He
Wow.
knows how to get the wickets for India. How do you then make sure, as a Sri Lankan player, to say, okay, I know what this man can do. He might be taking me out anytime. How do you avoid to be taken out early on in the game?
Well, based on the stats I've seen, it's that Sri Lanka, it's not so they're not so good when it comes to the first power play. So you realize that they have less stats in terms of less runs in the first power play, but then they pick up that momentum in the second power play. Based on here, in the second power play, they have an average of they've scored 936 runs in 6 innings, and then for India, they have 917. That
This is in the
shows
first power play.
this is in the second power play.
Second power
In the
play.
first power play, India has an upper hand because of the cases of Virat Kohli and
Rohit, who
Rohit,
knows how to get the
exactly.
most runs in the
Uh-huh.
first power play.
So in the first power play, they have 349 runs in the 6 innings, just from 6 batters. giving them an average of 49 runs
Yeah.
in that first power play. Then Sri Lanka is 330 in the first power play, averaging on 41.2. So that shows that India has a higher chances. I think that's how they managed to beat these other teams, because they maximize in the first power play. Then by the time they come to the second power play, it's when they slow down a little bit. Let's say their resting moment until they wake up again in the third power play.
And in the first power play, that's where a lot of teams are just still trying to find their momentum.
Exactly.
So that's when they maximize.
Exactly. So they're more of like those power ranging hitting. Like they just hit the ball. If it's good enough, they just maximize on it. So whereas for the other teams, they would rather block it or do the runs in the in the center. But for them, they just take that advantage. Okay, it's coming my way and I like it. Sure, let me get a 4 or a 6 out of it. So that's the trick they've been going with. That yes, as much as they've been winning, that's the strategy they go with. The first power play, people are also not yet used to the conditions. So everyone is in the exactly. Everyone is trying to see what's going on out there. So they maximize on that. Then by the time everyone is now used to what's they've adapted to the conditions in here or in the pitch, they now slow down. Now they are building partnership between each other. That's when they last longer. Then by the time the bowlers are now tired, or it's mostly the spinners, which is the third power play. That's when they start doing that range hitting again, because they've now gotten used to it, and then they've nothing to lose because they've set that score to be high enough, and they're now comfortable to be experimenting. So
that's in the final power play.
That's in the final power
For
play.
India.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have the bowling stats for Sri Lanka? I want to compare the two and just see who has the upper hand, and also to just see if it was very wise from Sri Lanka to actually field first.
Well, okay, yeah, I just got the stats for the bowling. In the first power play, India has 9 wickets based on 7 bowlers, and in the 6 innings, Sri Lanka also has 9 wickets from 9 bowlers in the first power play. Yes, so they're like equal. They're the same in the first power play.
In the first power play.
At least, and then but Sri Lanka has more bowlers. Like it adds more people in the first power play compared to India. Then in the second power play, India has 29 wickets from 6 innings, 8 bowlers. And then Sri Lanka has 18 wickets from 13 bowlers in the 6 innings. It shows that that's when they struggle, and that's when most of the teams have settled in. So now they're trying, it's now more like try and error. You come bowl, maybe you can get a wicket from this one or that one. So it's a little bit tougher for the Sri Lankans, but for the Indians, that's when they actually maximize, because that's when I'm sure they bring in Bumrah, because they've seen okay, people are struggling in the first power play. Now we need to let the people come out, and now they can do their own kind of field setup they want. So it's easier for them to manipulate the game. It's now their game time in the second power play. Then in the third power play, India has 8 wickets from 8 bowlers in the 5 innings.
In the 5 innings?
Yes.
Okay.
Then Sri Lanka has 6 from 7 bowlers and 4 innings.
Okay.
So technically,
those are interesting stats.
They check out the difference now. It shows that it's harder to remove the Indians in the third power play, because that's when the damage has been done and the overs are now running out. Exactly. And here it shows that also the Indians, that's when they also remove the tail enders, the ones who they've survived in the second power play. Now they're going to come out, all of them. That's when they remove. They
eliminate them.
Exactly. So they clean up in the third power play, technically.
They finish off the job.
Exactly.
Another thing though, don't you, this is what I think. I think that also the fact that they're playing in India, so India obviously plays a lot of match in the country at all these stadiums. Do you feel like they have home ground advantage in every single match? It's either they've played once at that field or that stadium, or twice or many times before. So do you feel like they've got the home ground advantage every single time?
Well, it's definitely yes, they do. But at the same time, if you check out the their squad, like the teams, it's like they still have the same players from the first player up to the end. And they've got minimum injuries based on the sense that they are well prepared for this tournament. And if you compare with the other teams, there's so many players who have been injured, meaning they didn't really condition their bodies to play in this kind of environment or climate. So definitely they've the home advantage, and also the physical state of the players, they're all good. So exactly. So that means they can handle any kind of pressure. At times they are not those easy wins, but the fact that they make them work out a bit, sure. It's
Also,
a good
another
idea.
fact that you're mentioning now, you and I speak a lot about rotation of squad. India have not done that a lot in the past 7 matches that they've played so far. You see the same players. Well, of course, they've had to bring in Mohamed Shami, but they have not really rotated their squad as much, and it seems to be working for them. But should there be an injury to one of their key players, will that in any way affect how the team will be playing as a collective?
I believe they all train at the same time, like the same way, meaning they've got the same ingredients to go out there and out and shine like everyone else. But in the sense that they've been okay, they don't see the need of rotation. But as much as it's not good, in the sense that that fatigue, which we always talk about a lot, is that that they, at least if they give everyone a chance to play, at least I'm happy that Mohamed Shami got in, that was given that chance, and he maximized on that, and they've seen he's good. They don't need to take him back anymore. They can take him back, but not based on that bad, poor performance, but in the sense that maybe he got injured, or the person he replaced is back, but they have a choice now, or to keep him or not. Unlike if you remove someone based on they're injured and then the replacement is terrible, definitely they'll force the one who's injured to get back. So I feel maybe it's India, there's more bowlers compared to the batters, and they know that they need that batting strength. Without the top two, that means it's going to be a little bit shaky. So it's like they can't remove their key players, in the sense that those are the foundation.
But wouldn't you say that now would be the perfect time to just remove your key players? You're already 1 foot into the final. They've got a match against South Africa that they don't really have to win that match. I mean, even if they lose it, they're already in the semi-final. But I would think that when you are already there, that would be the perfect time to now rotate the squad. The players who have not had game time, you bring them in. I would have, if I was the coach, that's what I would have done differently. They are left now with 1 game. That would be South Africa. Another big match for South Africa, looking to obviously just make the semi-final. So wouldn't you say that now would have been the time for India to just make the changes and try to see what worked? Trial and error.
Well, based on from where we stand, we might think that it's a good idea. But when it comes to professionalism and being in the World Cup, this is not the time to gamble, in the sense that, imagine they changed the players for South African game, right? Considering they've won. But what if they meet again in the finals, and those people who have been taken out, they've not experience or exposure to play against that kind of the team. So it's going to be harder for them to strategize based on their strength. So right now, I feel I'm beginning to understand them, that the reason why they're not changing is that they're giving a chance for those key players to have a feel against each one of the teams in this World Cup.
But how is it fair to the other players? Because you wouldn't be like, you cannot judge a person or like a player if they have not yet been given a chance to prove themselves. Mohamed Shami, if there was no injury, he wouldn't have won those wickets for India. So you have to try something in order to see if it works or not. And I was just thinking maybe today was that, game for India, or against England. That was also a proper match to just see what works. So what if they bring out a Virat Kohli and a Rohit Sharma, and they play people who have been on the bench for quite some time, and that also works. So now that means you don't have to rely on the 2 key players, because your squad is all rounded and capable to win you all the matches that you need to win.
Well, this time around, I feel it's one of those it's win or lose type of thing. Because, if you're losing, you lost with the fight. So now these other ones, I understand the feeling you're talking about, that sitting on the bench for all the tournament, it won't be right.
I
But
was at the World Cup, but I didn't get to
I
play.
didn't play.
You
But
know?
check out, if they win, if the teams win, that means we won as a squad. They also came.
Okay, yeah.
So they should take it like as a vacation, maybe. But I understand the individual states and the records they would also want to set out there. But it's one of those, they would have their own reason why they didn't play. But I'm sure one of those matches which are remaining, they'll be given a chance to play as well, while they prepare and condition themselves for the semifinals.
All right. So as we wrap it up,
Mhm.
we're gonna do that prediction, right? And then tomorrow when we come to the show, we are bringing goodies so that we just hold each other accountable. And because we are truthful, we will do that. Now we've spoken a lot about what India has to do, but for Sri Lanka though, we've established that in the first, they are very good also at taking out wickets in the first power play. But against a strong side like India, would we be seeing something like that today in the first power play?
First power play. It's not going to be easy. That's one thing for sure. They might not manage much, like to take out as many people in the first power play. But if they're lucky enough, maybe in the second power play, towards the third power play. But it won't be more than 6 wickets per se, unless it's one of those off days. But at this rate, with the way India has been improving every single game, I feel they are now like looking forward to what's going to happen right here. And they know what's on the stake. So they won't want to lose that record, really.
They definitely wouldn't want to lose that record. We have to talk about this. Who do you think will come out victorious in this match?
My prediction says India, based on the stats, and besides the stats per se, the experience and then the maximum effort they've been putting out there and making sure they're performing out of it, their best. It might not be an easy win, but I'm sure they're going to put out that fight and make sure they capitalize. The betting side might be terrible or off tune, but they know they've got backup from the bowling side. So they are covered in that sense.
So that means there's no need to have a bet then. We're all going for the same team.
Now it's a matter of guessing by how much, maybe.
Okay, you seem to be good at this. You go, I'll go after.
Um, I would say by 150 runs.
Okay, I would say that India would win by 150 runs.
Why?
I feel like it's going to be a walkover for them. This is just going to be an easy game for them. That's what I think.
Okay, fair enough.
So those are predictions, and of course, we will be accounting again later on in the day. And you have to buy me a chocolate, and I have to do the same.
Or we can just share.
Whoever that gets it right.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome back to our watch along. So we'll be talking about the match currently underway as things stand. It is 33 for 1, and of course, that key player for India that we spoke about earlier on today has been completely ruled out. So you said actually, okay, that it was a good thing that they decided to bowl first.
Yes, definitely, in the sense that they're maximizing on what they're good at, of which it's bowling. And like what I said earlier on, that if they do more of these target bowling, that means they know they're being accurate. The moment he misses the ball, it's just aiming for those wickets, and that's what really happened here for Rohit. So if they continue doing that, and it's still in the first power play, so the more they take out the people before they get too comfortable, the easier for them to go forward.
So it'll be harder to get them out to the second half because they would have adjusted to the conditions.
Exactly.
The game, the momentum will be peaking in the second power play. So,
and that also gives them that stress, in the sense that they are now having the scoreboard stress. They need to maximize the number of runs on the board, and without enough number of people, it gives them that sense of discomfort in a way. So it's a good thing for Sheila to continue doing this, and so, it's giving them that boost that at least one person at the moment is gone. So the next one, they're now working towards those things.
So let's talk about that. Of course, the most first balls for India in ODIs. This is in the first overs. We've gotten 50. Well, we'll talk about Rohit Sharma. This is obviously since 2002. So 15 for Sehwag. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And 11 for Rohit, and 4 for Kambir, and 2 for Tawan, and 2 for Rahul. So it goes to show that in the first power play, it's a very tricky one.
It's a very tricky one. Like, you see, the first ball he thought of, it was a 4, because he was now maximizing the fact that there are very few people outside the 30 yards around mark, and that shows it's easy. The moment it misses the people, they're good to go. So that's why it's easier for them to just hit the 4s during the first power play and also in the third power play. So
speaking of the 4s, they just keep scoring back to back 4s. It seems like this is where they maximize India, obviously in the first power play, like you said.
So they're just taking advantages of those people who are just few. Like right now, there are only 2 people, so you can't really expect the rest of the squad to run from the 30-meter yard to the boundary quick enough before the ball gets out. So it shows that they know what they're doing. They're looking for those gaps and hitting in between the gaps, and that's their advantage and that's their strength. So they're using that arm strength, which they always do. So the gym really works.
The gym really works.
The gym really works.
Then tell me what the trick would be for Sri Lanka to get, at least. I feel like 3 wickets in the first power play could be a decent one for them.
They need to hit those lines. Simple. They know, okay, this kind of a person or kind of a player can hit a certain length. So they need to just to be consistent. As much as they might have a loose ball where they'll be hit for 6s or 4s, that shows they shouldn't be discouraged by that, but continue that consistent. Eventually, they'll end up hitting those wickets, or at least for the LBW or the Knicks, and someone can catch them. So it's okay. They need to have that accuracy and the consistency along the way.
You need to tell me why you rate the LBW so high. That's all you've been talking about. Is it easier to get them out by an LBW?
It's not so easy, but it's the skill. It's a matter of we're trying to hit the ball, and somehow the ball, the moment it hit the jack, it turned. So it's the swinging of the ball, either inward or outward. So it's how you turn the ball. So it's a skill the bowler needs to have, either is it an in swing or out swing. So it's mostly with the spinners, but either way, even the seamers, they can still do the same thing.
You see the stat over there?
Yes. It's saying Quinton is at the top with the most runs. He has 545 currently. So he's above the New Zealand Ravid Hindra. So he's at the top. And so far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So we'll be bringing in Tasman and Harry, obviously, to just talk about that match. But right now, as things stand, it is 42 for 1 wicket. It seems like they're holding on very well, India, and also they're getting most of the runs, obviously, in the play because they know that you need to maximize to the first power play. They're very comfortable in the second power play, so no doubt that they're going to do very well there.
Definitely.
And in the last power play, that's when they just finish off the job.
And also the other thing we're told that is that Virat Kohli has crossed his 8,000 runs mark in the ODI in Asia. So he's currently the fourth player to achieve this milestone. So far he's doing a great job. As much as the runs right now might be a little bit low, but they know the moment he settles in, the moment he has those roots on the ground, he's not going anywhere.
And we can say that the reason why he's been bowled out so early last time is because he was still trying to, settle into the game.
Exactly.
And we are seeing him very settled in the game today. That means he might be playing till the game ends today.
Is going to be another Quinton. A problem. He will refuse to go out so quickly because he knows, okay, so far I've been doing this, and I feel he has so much pressure from everyone else. I don't know how he handles it. That's some talent and a skill based on from the fans. I'm sure right now the stadium is fully packed. Everyone is here just to exactly. Now the team is relying on him based on in the sense that Rohit came out early, so he now has that pressure that he needs to carry the team forward. At least the moment he comes out, they should have laid the foundation strong enough for everyone else to continue climbing up.
You speak about the pressure. Are you able to, like, as a player, to switch off the pressure and just focus on the game at hand?
I feel it's kind of hard in the sense it's a skill. You can turn that pressure into like cheering. So you can use it as your potential energy vibe. The moment they cheer for you, you feel that hype, you feel good. Then you continue wanting to perform well, then it continues on your side. But the problem is when you start making mistakes, and that's when everyone is now feeling like it's against you. So it's like you're already beating yourself. Now you feel everyone else is doing that. It's kind of a skill. Definitely. I don't even know how they survive, but hey, I'm sure they're used to it and they know that they're fans. They'll always have fans. So as long as they've got family on their side, they know that everyone else doesn't matter. People can say whatever they want.
That's true. The first power play is almost over. What are we expecting like towards the end from both teams?
Towards the end, definitely it's going to be firecrackers in the sense that India would have settled in and they know that the moment they start losing wickets, that means there's something wrong they're doing. And the last enders, they'll definitely be told that they need to pull up their socks and help everyone else. And I feel this game, it's not over. It's just the beginning right now. It's more like it's warm up. They're seeing how Sri Lanka is strategizing their things. So now, second power play or after the drinks, they've discussed what's the way forward. They've got the new strategy now, how to maximize in that second power play. And as we have seen in the second, that's when they're now more stable. They are now building the partnership. So more runs will be kept on feeding in, and the fours and the sixes will continue skyrocketing.
I love that how you put it. But for Sri Lanka, are they getting any more wickets before the end of this power play?
Definitely, they still have some pretty good bowlers. For example, let me quickly check.
So they're definitely going to get more wickets.
They're going to do so because they've got Angelo Matthews. He's also known to be a good bowler for Sri Lankan team, and they've got where is he?
2 more overs, by the way.
Yes. So it's one of those they've got decent bowlers really who know what they're supposed to do and what they're expected to do. So it might be a struggle to get those wickets, but they would have put in their maximum best, really.
Yeah. So we'll see how one ends. I'm just looking at the game here and just seeing how India are really aiming for those fours, and not only aiming but really converting those fours, and they are making a really huge difference in as far as the scores are concerned.
Yeah, definitely they're maximizing in the sense that they know the moment I'm out here, I need to maintain those high scores. Because in the previous games, for example, for India, Rohit Sharma, he has 354 runs in the tournament. That's excluding the ones which he just scored right now. And then Virat Kohli, he has 98 runs, close to 150 ODI sixes. That shows that yes, there's Rohit, but Virat Kohli, the moment he's still in there, that means there's still hope for them. And also there's Bumrah, who's the leading wicket taker, like how I explained earlier on, that he has 14 wickets currently. Then the key players for Sri Lanka, we're looking at Silva, who's the leading run scorer with 279 runs. Then we have Wanindu Asaranga was the leading wicket taker with 12 wickets. So he's not in the current squad right now. He was injured, but he's one of the top wicket takers for Sri Lanka. And we all know that he did some damaging in Zimbabwe. Everyone is always talking about him. That's how everyone just fell in love with Sri Lanka because of the style he used to play and the way he would just remove everyone right round. So the fact that he got injured, it's a boomer for Sri Lanka, but they need to work with what they have and maximize on those lands.
Of course, as a Zimbabwean, you'll remember that.
Definitely, it was a painful one.
Yeah, you would remember that. Speaking of Rohit Sharma being, the best players for India, getting the most sixes and the most runs in the first power play, just being taken out so early on in the game, will this in any way impact how they play the match today?
Definitely not, because they know they've got each other's backs, and he knows, okay, today it wasn't a good day. Maybe his head wasn't in the right space, but he knows his team, they've got him, so they're going to take him all the way. So at the end, he might not have those good stats for himself today, but as a team, they know they would have won. So it's everyone's benefit at the end. Exactly.
We've also seen the last time against England, they played without Virat Kohli, who got out earlier on in the game, but
exactly.
they still managed to win the game. So it's not just individuals playing, but it is a collective match as a whole for everyone.
Yeah, because if you just look at the stats right now, we're on 57 for one. But what I've noticed is that the number of fours each player who's currently playing right now, Shubha Gill and Virat Kohli, in total they have 11. They've scored 11 fours, which is like an easy thing for them. That shows how professional these guys are, or how much experience they've gained over these games. It's no longer a stress or a struggle to get those kind of runs anymore. So we're yet to see the fireworks, the sixes now.
So we'll see that in the second power play, surely, because the first one.
Yeah, the first one is. Yes.
What else can we expect from this match today?
We're going to see some bit of slowing down the third power play.
From which side?
From the
from the bowling,
from the
bowlers,
from the bowlers. They would have, especially when the spinners come in. I feel maybe they would come and try to slow down what's going on right now. In the second power play, that's when the spinners will come in. Right now, it was the seamers, and they seem to manage to take out only one person. But the spinners somehow they've got that quick turn of the ball. So if the batters or the Indian guys they're not careful, it's going to be really hard for them. So, and their spinners are quite good, so they usually do most of the damage.
So then that will mean Sri Lanka will also have to bring their best game in the second power play. Because as things look right now, it seems like they're really just giving it to India on a very silver platter.
Yeah, true. Very true on that.
So it is currently 59 for one, and 9.3 overs done and dusted. Yeah.
But based on what I'm seeing here currently, Sri Lanka is not doing so bad in the sense that the number of loose balls, like the extras they're giving out, they're quite minimum, which is just two, and they're mostly wides. So it shows that they're relying on what they can, and the keeper as well. Yeah. He's doing his job, making sure that there are no buys or leg buys, so which is good. So they are restricting the movement, because if it's a good day for India right now, circling almost close to 100 right now in the first power play, but they're only on 60 right now. So the good thing, it might not be safe, because they're running at 6.21 the run rate, meaning in each over, that means they're only scoring 6 runs, and in an over they're 6 balls. So it's like one ball they're just hitting once. So which is not so bad compared to if it was a little bit higher.
So if you have whatever score India might end at,
Mhm.
Sri Lanka will be able to chase that because of how we see they being able to, like you say, play those loose balls, which eventually mean that they're taming the batters of India.
Well, at the moment it might look so, but the other thing is what I've noticed with these teams, usually when they go to the second power play or third power play, somehow maybe they run out of energy, or I don't know, that momentum, that consistency, that's when they mess it up. And that's where usually teams like India or New Zealand, they maximize because they've got experience. They start hitting those high ranging, the power ranging free shots. So if only there's a way they can manage to keep it at that, what's happening right now, the consistency, I'm sure they would just hit the 250 mark, and of which that's a fair enough score, and they can manage to get there. Even if they lose, it will be just a small margin. Unlike letting them go up to 300. Yeah.
And then they'll just,
Yeah.
just be like they shot themselves in the foot.
Exactly.
But I think that India will just easily reach 300 and just above, and I think that would be very hard for Sri Lanka to chase.
Yeah, for like any other team, the moment if the first innings or the batting team starts and sets the 300 mark, somehow mentally they've told themselves, okay, we can't get there. So it's that psychological, exactly, thing that once you get 300 and plus runs, we can't reach there, but they can handle the 200s. So as long as India will just hit less than 300, I'm sure they'll manage or they'll try to get there. But if it's the 300 or the 400, like I said, they did, this could be an easy win for them.
But as things look like we had predicted, also that seems like India will just be walking over this one. But we'll see how it ends. It is the end of the first power play, and
they're only on
bad,
60.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, and they're only on 60 for one, which is good, meaning at least they managed to remove someone. So it's not 60 nothing without any of the wickets.
So we'll see how the second power play goes, and we'll see eventually how the match ends. And we'll be bringing you all that action as it unfolds right here on our watch along. Thank you. So we'll just make more prediction as time goes on. So yeah, from Tanya and I, we will be back